been waiting for you. Senator Obama, America has been waiting for you. Friends, I ask you to join me in welcoming to Tampa the next President of the United States, Barack Obama.
You want to go into something dirty and nasty like politics? Why would you want to go into politics? And the question is understandable because all of us sometimes feel cynical about the political process these days. It feels as if politics is treated as a business and not a mission. It feels as if power is always trumping principle. We have a sense that our leadership is long on rhetoric but short on follow-through sometimes, and so we get discouraged. And sometimes we hold our noses, and every 2 years and 4 years we go and vote for the lesser of two evils, but we don't feel confident the government is going to make a difference in our lives. At most, we hope that it will do us no harm. But I told people then what I told the crowd of 20,000 yesterday in Atlanta. The same thing I would say to you today, and that is that there has always been another tradition to politics, a tradition that says that we are all connected as a people.
Yes, that's right.
That if there is a child somewhere here in Tampa that cannot read, that makes a difference in my life if it's not my child.
That's right.
It diminishes my life.
That's right.
If there's a veteran in Chicago huddling under a bridge, going through dumpsters because he's homeless after having served his country, you don't have to know that veteran to feel diminished in your patriotism, that something like that is allowed to happen in the United States of America. That makes all of us a little bit poor. We are proud of our individualism and our self-reliance. That's part of what built America. But we didn't just build America because we were all on our own. We built America because we pulled together. The good news is that I feel the winds of change coming.
That's right.
I feel a new breeze blowing. Americans around the country are starting to pay attention.
That's right.
You know, they are tired of the old okey doke. And they're tired of being bamboozled. And what they said to themselves is, you know, maybe if we actually get involved and get engaged, then we might bring about some change. And they realize that they have to get involved and get engaged because we are at a crossroads in our history.
That's right.
We're at a crossroads internationally, we're at a crossroads domestically.
That's right.
You know what the challenges are. We've been talking about them for years. A healthcare system that's broken, that's bankrupting families and bankrupting our government. An education system that no matter what the slogan says is leaving too many children behind. That isn't preparing our kids to compete in the new global economy. We've got an economy that's never been more profitable, never been more productive, and yet for ordinary folks who don't work on Wall Street, they are still living from paycheck to paycheck, struggling to get, struggling to pay the health care bill, struggling to save for the college tuition of their children. We've got the lack of an energy policy that leads us to send $800 million a day to some of the most hostile nations on earth. And we end up funding both sides of the war on terrorism as a consequence of our absence of an energy policy. And in the bargain, we're melting the polar ice caps and fundamentally changing the climate of the planet. And we know that an economy that serves just some but not all is not good enough. So even as we are investing in our youth, we've got people here who are ready to work. And we've got to invest in the infrastructure, broadband lines, so that we can communicate in this digital economy and linking up inner cities and rural communities that have been left behind. And you know, if we're spending $100 billion a year in Iraq. I know we can spend $100 billion right here in the United States on roads and bridges and hospitals and putting people back to work. And while we're at it, you know, this energy thing looks like a problem, but it could actually be an opportunity.
Come on.
Because if we set up a system in which we're actually charging for the pollution that's being sent into the atmosphere, and if we put a price on that, then suddenly companies have an incentive to reduce it.
All right.
And entrepreneurs have an incentive to invest in it. And they will create new jobs and new industries, making a green economy that we can export all around the world, and could be an engine for economic growth instead of a burden on our children. Now, we're not going to be able to do a lot of that, though, as long as we continue to be bogged down in Iraq. Now, I am proud that in 2002, I stood up in front of a crowd about this size in Chicago, and I said, this is a bad idea, that this will lead to untold casualties and unanticipated problems. And I'm just as proud that now that we're in, I have said we've got to be as careful getting out as we were careless getting in, but we do have to bring our troops out of Iraq. We have to end the combat presence in Iraq. We cannot impose a military solution on what are political problems between sectarian parties. It is time to get our troops out of there so they can take on the battle that should have been fought against terrorism.